Hi my loves, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about how to parent yourself and how to start your inner child healing process in order to grow as a divine individual, and honestly, how to utilize your own pain and transmute that into your own personal power. So as always, we will be doing my makeup with me, and get ready for this long rant slash advice kind of video, okay? Let's begin with priming my face. So as y'all can tell, my voice is a bit nasally or congested because I think I am experiencing sinusitis, or first I'm going in with the hydration balm. This is Hero Cosmetics Force Shield Super Fuel Serum Stick. This is after I apply skincare and I just want to lock in moisture and before I prep for makeup, okay? Because my skin is fairly dry, and something I've been working on is a lot of self-care, daily self-care routine in order to be consistent in keeping my skin hydrated, okay, and clean and fresh. Then we're gonna go in with the Power Grip Primer by e.l.f. Duh. This really keeps my base sticky for makeup application. So why I want to get into this topic in particular about how to reparent yourself and nurturing your inner child is because I feel a lot of people overlook that aspect of themselves when going into their self-healing journey, and even shadow work, okay? And why your inner child is so important even as an adult, even like any time during your life, is because we still have our inner child within us, and our inner child lives on with us for all of eternity, okay? So think about this in a more Jungian archetypal way. So we have mother archetype, father archetype, we got the inner child archetype as well, our shadow, persona, ego, self, anima slash animus. There's a lot of selves that can be explored within our collective unconscious as well as personal conscious as well, I believe. And I honestly feel this is going to be easier through examples. You know me, I love my examples. We're gonna go in with my e.l.f. Camo Concealer, of course. But what I wanted to say is I feel all of our fears stem from our environment, okay? So if you think about it as a kid, your environment shapes the way you think and view certain things in life, such as money, love, self-worth, friends, all of the above, okay? Do I do concealer first? No, foundation. My bad. We're gonna go in with the Revlon Color Stay, actually. I truly feel whenever we go through doubts in life, self-doubts, and our inability to accept that we deserve love or good things, is because from a young age, we were programmed into thinking we're not good enough. And personally, for me, the difference in love language in my family is very prevalent. So for example, like I personally believe growing up in a Korean American household, traditionally and culturally speaking, my parents are more acts of service and quality time, whereas my love languages consist of more like words of affirmation and quality time as well. But growing up, you know, I never really heard things like I'm sorry or I love you kind of thing, whereas in my relationships, I try to be that person for my partner, okay? And I feel that's like one way I broke a generational cycle within my life, is by like challenging the conditioning of my mind and programming of the way I view love. And it's like, there was one moment in my life where I had a dark night of the soul during my spiritual awakening, and this was whenever I started to realize how old I was and how, you know, my parents have flaws, okay? And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this during like your 20s or just during your maturing stages, is whenever all of your illusions become dissolved. And this happened during my spiritual awakening process, and it was a bit scary to realize, like, because at a young age I always viewed my parents as indestructible, resilient, and the most powerful people ever. And I'm not saying that's not true now, but what I'm getting at is growing up almost exposes you to the harsh truth of reality, correct? And almost like you start to compare your thinking process when you were younger to now, and how maturing can be a scary thing, in realizing, like swallowing a hard truth pill, okay? What I'm trying to get at is, once I became aware and was forced to face this hard truth, was when I realized I wasn't getting enough nourishment in my family, and not due to the fault of my parents or anything, but because everyone has flaws and everyone has setbacks, okay? So like when I was younger, I would think my life was perfect, and I'm not saying my childhood wasn't fulfilling or enriching in any way. It's almost, your fairy tale becomes more real, or the universe challenges your fairy tales, okay? So it's like the harsh truth of having to see how my parents were for face value at this age, and like me maturing and seeing, oh, maybe this is why I feel this way or view myself a certain way. And I saw a lot of their flaws, and it's like I can't even blame them, because now you realize your parents are also human beings. They're not super human, although we would love them to be. And that's why it's really important to start the reparenting process for yourself, and not hold any resentment towards the progress in which, you know, challenged your initial thoughts of, oh, like my life is perfect, but why am I this way? Okay, because this is for your highest good, this realization, this hard truth that became exposed to you, okay? And we're gonna begin or move on to eyebrows. And I personally feel as we grow older, we don't truly make the connections of the areas in life that we feel lacking in. So for example, if you feel you're lacking in finances, you want to seek fulfillment by pursuing your goals and, you know, seeing that material manifestation of assets, okay, to feel fulfilled in some sort of way. Or in terms of love and connections and friendships, it's like, according to how fulfilling my relationship feels is what you compare that to your own self-worth. It's like, if I don't have a fulfilling relationship right now, I'm not doing so well. If I'm not rich right now, I'm not doing so well. If I don't have friendships that if I don't have many friends right now, then I'm not where I'm supposed to be. It's like we try to seek external validation and compare that to our own lack of self-worth, or feeling abundant in self-worth. But one thing I always want to emphasize is you cannot seek your own personal fulfillment external of you, okay? Not outside of you. Your intrinsic value is not determined by your extrinsic value, okay? However, your extrinsic value can be almost proof of your intrinsic value, but not vice versa, in my opinion. So what I mean by that, if you have done the inner work and truly realized your potential and then started working on yourself extrinsically, like really putting in the work, putting things into action once you worked in yourself, then those are manifestations, proof of self-work. However, if you're trying to fill your cup with extrinsic value, your intrinsic value rejects it, okay? Because that's not true, that money buys happiness. And I've always thought that money does not buy happiness, because it's like money alone cannot buy something that you really have to work for. And through self-work and healing is how you find happiness, okay, and contentment in yourself. So I also wanted to talk about how your projection of insecurities can really expose an unhealed inner child. And to start, we're gonna get into the NARS cream blush. Okay, so what I mean by that is whenever you find yourself judging someone, so for example, let's say you find yourself judging someone for their appearance, and you're like, this person's unattractive, or this person's cringy, this person is weird. That is a reflection of how you actually view yourself. And how that works is most people are not in tune with their subconscious mind, which means the internal thoughts and behaviors that you have, so your actual self. Everyone has a persona, which is the mask and what you project onto society, because we all want to belong and fit in. So that's not actually your true self that you show to most people. Whenever you find yourself judging others, though, that is not a hard objective fact. So think about it this way: your subjective opinion about this person and their flaws and imperfections and how, oh, they're weird, like they're just undesirable. But according to what? What are the premises for trying to reason that out? That only comes from a place of self-hatred and you feeling cringy, you feeling unattractive, you feeling weird, and almost a fear of others viewing you in those ways is what makes you judge people. So every time you judge someone, you expose a layer of yourself that needs healing. And that's a quote that I found very beautiful. I don't know who it's by. And so be kind to yourself. Something that I've been working on for this new year is daily positive affirmations, okay? And honestly, it all starts from you doing that work and you prioritizing self-love, self-care rituals. Every time you find yourself judging someone, comparing yourself to others, stop yourself and ask yourself, where is this stemming from? Why do I feel this way? This is not true, so this should be something that I need to work on myself. So maybe I can use an example. I've never been one to really judge other people, but maybe in high school I got into the peer pressure of, people talking a lot and talking behind people's backs, this and that. I wanted drama, attention, things like that. So whenever I realized that part of myself that I overcame, I realized this was my inner child wanting to feel a sense of belonging and wanting to fit in with other people and seeking validation externally from myself. So whenever you feel the need to almost feel you need external validation from other people, you have to really truly dive in and be like, where did I not find validation in my life that I need this right now? So especially in relationships, I feel like this would be a better example. Let's say you find yourself very codependent in relationships and you're like, that's just how I am and that's just how I love. I used to think that way as well until I got into my recent relationship with my boyfriend. He really taught me that love is not all about like being selfish and fulfilling your own needs. True love is actually a choice, and you love each other unconditionally, and you set boundaries, respect people, and it doesn't come from a place of impulsivity and intensity of your own desires. So if you feel codependent and you have to always like look to your partner for validation, or always have to be with your partner to feel loved or that y'all are connected, it's like you're just afraid of being alone. You're just afraid of having to be alone with yourself and having to confront your own fears of, oh, wait, I'm just scared of being alone. I'm just scared of feeling unlovable. But that's just proof right there that you just need to work on yourself, and nothing outside of you could give you that fulfillment, maybe temporarily, but if you truly feel that like you can find that from someone else, you're lying to yourself. We're gonna move on to eyeshadow. We're gonna prime our eyelids. Something also important and steps in overcoming these fears and embracing your inner child is by showing up for yourself. So whenever you feel that you're alone in certain areas of your life and you always try to seek like external validation or company to feel less alone, stop, drop and roll. Just kidding. But it's like, you need to start showing up for yourself. You start praising yourself. You start celebrating your own achievements and successes without needing anyone else to recognize it, okay? I just saw this quote today that I'm going to add to my vision board, which is, I'm still blooming despite you not being a witness anymore. So it's like, bloom even when no one else is watching. Love yourself enough that no one else's opinion or remarks even phase you, because it's like, oh, thanks, but I can do this on my own. Or it's almost like your hate, your judgment, or any of that does not affect the way I feel about myself, because my love for myself is unwavering and unconditional. And that all starts from healing your inner child. Something I really stress the importance of in healing your inner child, this is something that I did during the dark night of my soul phase of my spiritual awakening, and this came from my intuition. I didn't see this practice on Pinterest or whatever that I use all the time. This was just almost like I felt intuitively compelled to do this, and I know this will help a lot of people out there. So what I did was I looked at my childhood portrait up here, and I grabbed it, I dusted it off, and I started crying holding it. And I told her, everything will be okay. I'm here to take care of you. You can let go. I forgive you. And it's like you're starting to nurture and parent yourself by telling you, your inner child, that all will be taken care of. You don't have anything to worry about, and you are loved. You are deserving of love. You are deserving of great things. And your negative experiences don't define you, okay? You are not the darkness that you endured. You are the light that refused to surrender. That is a John Green quote I love. It's like, but without the darkness, there is no light. So you really have to love all aspects of yourself in order to really achieve that self-love enlightenment. We're going to move on to eyeshadow. Let's see what color I'm feeling today. Today is Monday, so I'm going to do white. I don't think I've made a video on this, but I utilize day of the week magical correspondences to like help me pick out my outfits and achieve the most aligned frequency of that day of the week. So today is Monday. It's all about renewal, purifying, and healing. And the color for Monday is white. Okay. Anyways, whenever you feel judged or when someone judges you and you get hurt, next time try to think within and talk to yourself inside your head. Be like, ouch, that hurt. But also, is it true what they said about me? Let's say someone said, you're ugly, and you're like wanting to cry, but in your head, you're like, why did that really hurt me though? Am I actually ugly? Do I feel ugly? Do I think I'm ugly? Is that why I'm hurting? Because no matter what anyone says about you, it's like, if you yourself know that you're not ugly, it won't hurt, you know? So every time you get hurt, there is a reason for that pain, something that's unresolved within you. Something that I still find myself working through is codependency and feeling undesirable or unlovable or deserving of love sometimes, okay? Like sometimes I need that validation in my relationships. And I'm willing to admit it. And it all starts from self-awareness as well. Be honest with yourself and, be honest that you're just human and all humans have imperfections and flaws. You cannot be perfect. So that persona, that mask that you curate for everyone to observe, it's false. It's a false sense of yourself that you want people to acknowledge and notice without being honest about who you really are because you're afraid of judgment. But don't be afraid of judgment because no one's perfect. You're not perfect. And the people who judge you are clearly not perfect either. So what are you actually fearing at the end of the day? It's yourself that you're fearing. And, it is scary to really have to be honest with yourself and be honest with yourself that you're imperfect and that you are hurting, okay? And that is a tough reality that a lot of people are afraid to face, including myself. We're gonna move on to eyeliner, but I might do this off camera. And anytime you feel alone in your own suffering is whenever it's the best time to start this reparenting journey, okay? Parenting yourself is so important whenever you feel so alone and you feel it's projecting on other people. So as someone who has gone through a lot of bullying in my childhood, I would even question my own self-worth because of, the bullying, right? Like feeling, oh, am I not likable? Am I just not a likable person? Is that why I face all this bullying? And when I started this inner child healing, it's like I had to tell myself it wasn't you and it was never you. It was other people going through their own struggles, and I almost felt sympathy for these people who would bully me, and I forgave them because I knew, as a psychology major as well, they were going through their own traumatic childhoods, and they didn't have anyone who actually could help them or hear them out. That's why they felt the need to take it out so viciously on me. And as someone who is very optimistic and forgiving, I also don't let that define who I am. And before I would blame myself for not speaking up or standing up for myself. But now I forgive myself by saying, hey, I don't blame you for being kind. You did all you could do at the time with the knowledge that you had, and I worked through it on my own. So it's all about you reparenting and rebuilding yourself. You build your own self. Do not allow for other people to underestimate your worth because they don't know you. They would never know what it's like to live a day in your shoes. So it's like, how could that affect you if you know that these people don't even know even a pinch of what it's like to be you. Because we as individuals like find it easy to hide a lot of stuff and things that we're ashamed of. So it's like whenever you feel others are judging you, just look at them and be like, it doesn't faze me because you would never know what it's like to be me. And that's so empowering to think in that way. It's like nothing can faze me, nothing can hurt me because I am already so stable and grounded in the way I feel for myself, and the love I have for myself is so unconditional that you can never take away from me, and nothing you say could even graze the surface of what I built for myself within me. And that's so powerful. It's like that's why a lot of relationships don't work out. If you don't love yourself, Freddie, you don't have the love to give. And you're seeking more love from other people. It's a take and give situation. It's not an unconditionally flowing kind of ease of love. So that's why I feel it's important to emphasize on karmic relationships, soulmate relationships, twin flame relationship. So this is also just random, but like I want to share, there's a big difference in three. Karmic relationships are for you to learn a lesson, move on, bye. Or maybe this is even a past life relationship that y'all have some karmic debt to repay off in this life, but you have to break some sort of cycle, okay? This is not supposed to be an eternal connection because they don't actually benefit you. The benefit is about what you learn from the relationship. So toxic relationships where you feel almost, this is my lover forever. No, they're not. Why are you crying every day? And why are you feeling like they hurt you all the time? Your soulmate or twin flame would never intentionally hurt you. Remember that. Soulmates can be platonic, can be family members, friends, or even lovers, and these people are meant to guide you in your life purpose and to be there for you and support you in you achieving your life goal. However, your twin flame, we only have one, and that is literally another half of you, and they mirror you, your true self, as well as it's just a very difficult relationship overall because they are literally another half of you, okay? So there's a running and chasing kind of dynamic, up and down tower dynamic where there's a lot of destruction, chaos, but this is to serve your life purpose. Whenever you start your self-love journey is whenever the universe will energetically connect y'all together, and slowly but surely y'all will become into a union of some sort. You might even dream about your twin flame, or energetically feel them. Your twin flame could be much older than you or even live across the country from you. So acknowledge that not everything is a match made in heaven, you know? And I feel in my last video, I talked about how to stop being a people pleaser or set boundaries. And it's like, when you acknowledge that your inner child lives within you forever until the moment you pass away, you can picture your childhood self, right? In your head, visualize them. Every time you feel hurt, every time you self-deprecate or tell yourself you're not enough, picture them. Picture you in front of them at the age you are now, telling them what you're telling yourself. So for example, if you're looking in the mirror being like, why do I look so ugly? Why am I unlikable? Picture, visualize your child self and you telling them that. Could you even? No. What you would do is actually embrace them and tell them everything's okay and you're worthy and I'm sorry for saying all these things that weren't true. It's like you really have to build this compassion and empathy for yourself. And this is a selfless kind of empathy and compassion. It's like, I would not let anyone ever hurt you, especially myself, to you. But I will never let other people get in between my love for you to your inner child. Tell your inner child that on a daily basis. Tell your inner child that whenever you feel insecure and find yourself comparing yourself to other people, in that moment of you being a child, it's like you wish your older self was there to parent them and tell them, hey, you are enough. And, you know, no one is you, no one can be like you, so don't ever feel unworthy. That's so important, okay? And it's like every time I like meet people or I see haters, I just love talking about haters. It's just kind of an interesting topic. Now I almost picture their inner child and I find ways to like irk them a little bit, because I'm like, hey, I know you're not actually that evil and you weren't that evil to begin with, but it's just kind of sad to see someone let themselves go so far because they didn't get the love that they thought they deserved while growing up. That's why parenting yourself is such an empowering thing. Whenever you see Karens, whenever you see just egotistical people, narcissistic people out there, you know, they weren't always like that, hopefully. I mean, also generational curses are a thing, so who knows? Maybe they're just a bad seed. But I always look at them and I'm like, who let you out like that? Who let you out and about acting the way you do? And who told you that it's okay to be the way you are? Because it's not. Whenever people are hating people, whenever people feel so entitled, it's like, did you not feel entitled growing up? And did you not feel worthy growing up? Is that why you have to act from a place of fight or flight? Our fight or flight is triggered whenever we're exposed to things we're not used to. So like stepping out of our comfort zone. Whenever we see Karens, it's like the entitlement to feel everything has to be given to them and handed to them. It's like you didn't have that, or you did have that growing up because you didn't get emotional fulfillment from your parents, did you? You act the way you do because you were always spoiled and you felt almost lacking in the love department with your family, huh? And you're never disciplined or taught how to be a respectful individual, and that's why you act the way you do. And it's like, maybe story time right now. You know, I watch like body cam footages and like Karen videos a lot, like compilations. I think they're pretty interesting. And the other day I was at Target with my mom and my brother, but I was checking out, like I got some clothes and I was checking out, and then I see these three women. So one younger girl, her mom, and probably her aunt or something, but I know it was like a mom, daughter, and another woman. And I see this woman who's standing in front of the fitting room, and this is like around 9 to 10 p.m. at night, okay? Just acknowledge that. And there were carts in front of the fitting room, so like even when I was wanting to try something on, first of all, I have common sense. I look, I'm like, oh, it's closed, and I still go about my looking because I'm like, all right, I'll just put it on top of myself in front of the mirror and be like, that looks like a good fit or whatever. If not, I'll return it, no biggie. But this woman was like, is the fitting room open? Can my daughter just try this one shirt on? And the woman's like, no, the fitting room's closed. And she's like, okay, but can she just try this shirt on then in the bathroom or something? In my head, I was like, if that were the case, if you could just try things on in the bathroom, why would there be a fitting room? And because the fitting room's closed, you're gonna try to find another way of getting what you want? And this woman was like, all right, then I'm gonna call the security. And in my head I said, as she should, because like, why are you causing such a ruckus just over things not going your way, Karen? And Karen was like, you know what, I'll call the security myself. And I see her like walking around with her daughter, and I could see just in her daughter's face that she's like, Mom, don't do this, stop. Because I feel it's true that Karens make Karens, but it's like, as a child, we're so pure and innocent, and we're able to pick up on things. We're like, this isn't right. Like, other parents don't act like this. Why is my mom like this? So I felt really bad for her in that moment, and I was like, I hope she doesn't turn out the way her mom is, because clearly the entitlement is entitlementing. But I wish in that moment I did speak up, but I wanted to mind my own business, because I'm sure like the employee didn't get in trouble for that. Like, she was just following the rules. It's just, why do you feel the entitlement to, like, the world clearly doesn't revolve around you, Karen, and it never did. But you wanting that to be true is just kind of sad, because nothing actually works in your favor and back home, does it? So it's just weird. It's just interesting understanding people, and people who are just stubborn, really. Like, whenever I come across stubborn people who are just so set on their flawed ways of being themselves, it's like, you're only doing yourself a disservice by acting the way you are. Because you're not willing to admit that you're flawed and that you have imperfections and unresolved issues. It's like, but you would rather have your ego stroked rather than admit that you are an imperfect individual who, just like everyone else, deserves healing and love. So whenever we think of people like Andrew Tate, whenever we think of people like, I don't know this girl named Pearl, I think. I saw someone do a YouTube video on her. It's like, people who are just ridiculous. Like, you're so one way or the other. It's like, my way or the highway. And I don't care, because at least I'm speaking my truth, and you don't have to like it, okay? Like, and I'm a hating, and you're proud of that? You're proud of being a hater? You're proud of shaming other people? Does that make you feel bigger? Because you yourself actually aren't strong enough, that you have to use other people's energies and the detriment of other people in order to feel powerful. That's embarrassing. I'm sorry. I only found empowerment by lifting up other people, and that's where true confidence really stems from, is by knowing your worth, so you don't have to feel you have to compare yourself to other people. Like, because I'm confident, when I look at other women, beautiful women, I'm not like, oh, I wish I looked like her. No, I praise their beauty and acknowledge that I'm unique in my own beauty, and so are they. And that's why I find it also sad that our generation has picked up on this trend of, like, beauty standards and cosmetic surgery. I don't have anything against cosmetic surgery. I wanted to get mine done as well, but, like, I changed my mind after a lot of things. It's like, I've always told y'all, your power is that no one can be you. And if you are a religious or spiritual person, you should know that it's a miracle that we're alive today and that we were born. And God makes no mistakes. The universe makes no mistakes. So think of yourself as a carefully curated individual who's almost like an art piece when being crafted. There are no flaws, actually. Everything was intentional when you were being created and put forth on this earth. So it's like, when you see someone else's beauty, that shouldn't even harm you in any way. And that shouldn't take away from your own beauty. So for example, let's say I actually am in love with, like, all the features I have. Not being cocky, just being confident. But let's say you're not happy with your nose or something, or your mouth, your lips, but you look at someone else, it's like, I wish my nose looked like that. But why? Because other people find that nose pretty and that's the beauty standard, or because you actually find your nose ugly? Think about it. As a kid, did you actually look at your nose and say, ew? Or was it because someone told you something about your nose? It all starts from programming and conditioning of your head. Your nose is not actually ugly. Your nose is very unique. And that's why I'm saying everything is subjective. Beauty is subjective. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You look at yourself, and if you actually, like, come from a place of your inner child, you're able to tell yourself, wow, I am so beautiful in my own way, and I don't want to be anyone else. Like, I could never even imagine being anyone else. So it's like, it does stem from a place of like wanting to fix yourself up externally, but that doesn't take away from the fact that like internally you need a lot of work. And if you start internally, you don't need externally, it just follows. It's like when you know you're that, when you know you're that, you are that, and no one could even like doubt that either, because now you have this level of confidence and like radiating this confidence and self-love that no one could even touch you. You're untouchable. When people look at you, it's like, wow, I've never seen anyone like that. They radiate this beauty, magnetic energy. But if you haven't done that internal work, but you've like done external work and you're like, oh, like at least I look pretty, like even though I'm insecure AF, people can see that your energy is not silent, especially for empaths like me. And I can smell it a mile away. Just by looking at you, I can tell that you try to seek validation just by putting on a show. And not that that's bad, but it's like, that's why people don't view you in the way you think you should be viewed. It's like, oh, I've done all this work. I look pretty though. Like, I glowed up though, right? So why aren't people wanting me? Because you don't want yourself. You don't think that you're wanted. That's why it's like, I said I don't have anything against plastic surgery. I really don't. But try the self-work first and see if your mind changes. And if you have it, nothing on you either, okay? You're beautiful with or without it. And if you made that decision for yourself and not because you find any aspects of yourself ugly and just because you wanted to enhance your beauty, nothing on you. Just saying, it all stems from society programming and conditioning of the mind. What is actually 1 + 1? What is actually time? Everything is subjective and created by humans, okay? So even beauty standards, the Western beauty standards are way different from Eastern and all across the world. Big noses are beautiful in other countries. Small lips might be desirable in other countries. Pale skin might be more desirable in other countries versus like always getting a tan on. So it's like, you shouldn't give in to these societal pressures and to wanting to fit in. Because ask yourself, do I actually want to do this for myself? Do I dress the way I truly feel I should dress? Do I do my makeup the way I really want to? Or do I look at other people and I'm like, oh, that's what's trending, so I'm going to do that? Ask yourself. And that's why inner child healing is so important, is because your inner child, all they want is to be told that they're enough and that no matter what they do, they're lovable. So it's like, just because you didn't get this love when you were younger doesn't mean that has to be your entire reality. You are the only narrator and writer of your own actual reality. You can always rewrite your story. You don't always have to be a villain. You don't always have to be a martyr. You can change your story. So it's like, when you acknowledge that truth, then you're able to actually put those things into reality. Let's say your reputation is being like a gossiper. Your reputation is what you created for yourself and what you allowed people to say about you and what you project. You can always change your reputation, okay? Even if, let's say, you get canceled or something. Do we talk about it years later? No. Whenever someone gets canceled, there's so many ways people get canceled too. It could be over the dumbest things, or it could be over something else. But first of all, no one's perfect. And these people who are judged because they made a mistake, it's ridiculous, because the people who judge these people, I'm sure you've made mistakes. You're not perfect either. But yet, because these people are put on a pedestal, you'll feel the right to judge them. Because all I think about is like almost randomly randomly selecting one of these people who are like, you're canceled, and bringing up their entire life portfolio and being like, all right, if you want to judge people, let me start judging you. You would be so afraid in that moment of being canceled and exposed and feeling vulnerable to everyone, yet you feel entitled to judging other people and canceling them. That's why you need to be very strong in yourself, even if you're put in that position to be canceled or judged or condemned. Okay, and I don't care, because like I said, you've never lived one day in my shoes. So what you think about me does not hinder or waver the way I feel about myself. You cannot paint me out to be the villain unless I do that for myself. You can always change or rewrite your story, people. So don't feel you have to live by conventions because you're just afraid of being unaccepted. That's not actually a good fear, to be honest. Like, well, you know, I can't compare and contrast fears. Mine are weird. I have irrational fears. So it's like, I'm afraid of dark water, thalassophobia. I used to have emetophobia, so like when people would get sick, I would be so scared. I don't know where that came from, but I think I'm slowly recovering that once I grew older and like partied a little more. But like I'm saying, exposure therapy is a thing. So your fear could just be like not being accepted. Your fear could literally be people seeing you for who you actually are. But why are you afraid of that? Because you don't like your true self? I mean, what else would be the reason that you're afraid of people like seeing your true self? And some things that I don't really like put out there is like my goofy energy, and like there are some things I feel like ashamed of and stuff, but not anymore. Like you can ask me and I'm an open book. I'm not afraid of being myself because, first of all, I can't think of any original thought I've had or experienced. So I feel everyone collectively goes through things, but people are unwilling to like come forward to talk about their stories because they're scared of being judged. I'm sure everyone has gone through a lot of similar experiences. That's why I find people powerful who like break cycles and they're unconventional and they're very expressive in who they are without fear of judgment. And I want to be that person. I truly do. And I want to inspire other people to share their voice and express who they are, because at the end of the day, this is only benefiting corporate America that we're investing in all these self-care products and like ways to benefit or like improve our beauty and stuff. All right, let's talk about therapy then. Let's talk about actual self-help and this and that. But that doesn't make money as much as cosmetic surgery or investing in beauty products and stuff like that. That's why don't play this game. Don't play the game of all the consumers out there. Be unconventional, okay? And tell yourself, you know what? I'm none of the things that everyone told me I was. I'm none of it. Because from now on, you get to change your narration, okay? And I think I'm gonna move on to, because like I'm not going out, but I just wanted to do like makeup and talk, so it's not like, hey, I'm just talking to you and listen up. Maybe I'll do a little bit of mascara. And honestly, I'm really thankful for my bullying experience at this age, because I know that I've come to realize at a younger age that like nothing phases me anymore because I've gone through it. And I'm able to be that person for people who are questioning their self-worth and be like, why do you tolerate it though? Because I've been through that same thing at a very young age where I was questioning my self-worth because people would tell me that I'm gullible and that I'm different and it was mostly like being gullible, I think, was the main thing. And also like for no reason at all, I would be excluded from things. And I was like, okay. My mom would always tell me that they're just jealous. And it's true, okay? Because why do people hate you for no reason? That's not a thing. And me, I can tell myself that I was always pure and I'm still pure. My inner child is pure and she does no wrong. So these girls my age who wanted to exclude me from things and bully me for no reason, for me like just being myself, it's like you're just projecting your own jealousy. And I'm sorry that you don't love yourself, but I do. So it's like you can't let other people affect you. You really have to build that connection and relationship with yourself so strongly and in a very stable manner that like nothing could waver you. Nothing could even touch you. It's like, think about it like that. It's very empowering. And that's why whenever people come to me about relationship issues or friendship issues, I'm like, you're coming to me for a reason, first of all. Second of all, I do appreciate you wanting to seek outside perspective and you trusting me with this, but it's like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm always gonna be honest. Okay, I don't sugarcoat. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is clearly like not benefiting you, and you yourself are in denial, but you acknowledge the cycle, that's the pattern that's repeating, and that's not benefiting you. That's why you're asking for help. And no one can make that decision besides yourself. No one can actually cut this person off besides yourself. So it's like, do yourself a favor and cherish yourself enough to not let anyone drain your energy or let anyone take advantage of your kindness. And that's why your inner child, like visualizing your inner child, is only going to help you build that confidence and self-assurance, okay? Should I do some powder? I don't think I need it, but I'm gonna spray some setting spray, of course. I don't know if I'm gonna do my hair. And I feel very empowered to be able to even talk to y'all about this, because I've gone through my personal experiences that I know like a lot of people go through as well, but it's just like ending that cycle and breaking that cycle for yourself is what really needs to be done. Like, I can tell you this all day, every day, but if you're not actively taking in this information and applying it into your life by putting those thoughts into action, you know, it's not gonna work. You actually have to do it. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I listened to some self-help thing, so it's like, now I'm okay, I'm healed. It doesn't work like that. You actually have to do it. Whenever you see yourself wanting to fit in, compare yourself to others, judging other people, always visualize your inner child. Okay, always tell your inner child, it's okay. Don't feel unworthy. I know you're doing this out of fear, but I'm going to change this for us. I'm going to be the one who steps up for us. So you can rest assured, inner child, live on, okay? Vibrate your beautiful, optimistic light, your bright light, but don't let me operate off your fear, because your ego will tell you all day, every day, don't do this. It's outside of your comfort zone, because it's wanting to, it's like self-preservation, protect you from things that you aren't used to. That's why your ego might be like, oh, defend yourself, defend yourself. Someone's like talking crap, so like defend yourself. But you don't actually need to defend yourself. The highest form of like revenge is just by paying no mind at all, because it doesn't bother you. And that's why I see all these things about like, oh, if he does you dirty, then seek revenge by putting tuna into his curtains, or like shrimp into his little like car filter or whatever. I'm like, what do you achieve, really? Like, that sense of temporary revenge, and like, do you actually seek justice by doing that? Because if this person hurts you, the best form of revenge is by cutting off all connection or contact or access to you. That this person has no longer any access to your life is enough revenge. And you start prioritizing yourself by being like, I'm not going to allow for people like this to ever enter my life again. And they see you growing without ever being allowed back into your life. That's revenge. Revenge is not, oh my gosh, let's slash tires. That is what is it? Damage of property. Let's not commit battery either. Let's keep our record clean by prioritizing ourselves. Know that you're better than that. Stop being foolish, okay? Because I know your inner child is hurting right now, being like, oh, I trusted this person and they hurt me, so now I have to hurt them back. You don't achieve anything by doing that. You actually just hurt yourself even more, because now that person's going to interpret you as like, oh, this person's so obsessed. This person's insane. This person is unhinged and cannot control their emotions. Nah. Be detached. Just detach. That person doesn't serve you anymore. Cut them off. Be like, you know what? Farewell. If anything, you should just be like, honestly, thank you. Because that will confuse them. Be like, honestly, thanks, because now I'm able to free myself. Because actually, these people do you a favor by leaving, and these people do you a favor by hurting you sometimes, because that's a lesson to be learned. Do not ever settle. Don't settle. You know you're better than that, right? That's why don't feel resentment for when things have to come to an end, or if someone hurts you. Actually thank the universe and even their role in your life by saying, hey, I learned a very valuable lesson by meeting this person, that I'm never ever going to compromise my self-love ever again. And then the right person will come, because you're going to draw them in magnetically. Your high vibrational frequency is going to attract high vibrational people and opportunities. But when you're stuck in low vibrational frequencies such as guilt, shame, anger, resentment, it's like you only attract the same energy. Remember that. Energy is everything. And manifestation works with energy and frequency. The highest form of energy and frequency is love and enlightenment. Unconditional love is the highest form of energy. So when you're unconditionally loving yourself and other people, you only attract the highest vibrational opportunities and connections into your life. So honestly, do not be in your own way by wanting to seek temporary fulfillment and giving into temporary temptations. When you find yourself judging people, when you find yourself comparing yourself to people, that's when you need to start this self-love journey, daily affirmations, and honestly, literally beat your demons up, beat them up by saying, you don't own me, I own you. Change the narrative by saying, I'm not ugly, I'm beautiful. When you feel you need to seek validation from other people, do I look good? I do that sometimes too. Do I look good today? Like, do you think I was annoying? Like this and that? No, actually start affirming yourself. You're not annoying. You don't have to ask other people. You're not annoying. You're not ugly. You look beautiful today. I promise. And when you start doing that is when you'll realize other people will see it too. When you start affirming yourself is when proof will be shown to you that maybe some people will be like, hey, you look beautiful today. Or if you're like, oh, does my hair look so like, ew, my hair looks gross. But then you start being like, my hair is voluminous, luscious, and I love the way it looks today. And let's say later that day, someone compliments you on your hair. That's proof that things are working itself out internally. And honestly, this was a very good chit chat, not gonna lie. So I might end the video here. I don't think I want to do anything else. I hope this video helped y'all out and really strengthening that love for yourself and healing your inner child within yourself, okay? I shall talk to y'all soon. Much love to y'all always, and love yourself, everyone, okay? See you soon. Bye.